Aligning the core now.
Clamps engaged. Setting the tension to 25.
Steady feed.
The unwound substrate feeds through a web cleaning section where ionized air bars and vacuum hoods pull loose.
A guarded splice table aligns the tail of one reel to the head of the next using registration marks and a heat seal splicer.
The clean substrate web enters a climate-stabilized buffer tower, looping around rollers to equalize tension and humidity. In the plate room, image data is verified on secure terminals, then transferred to plate imaging equipment. Each offset plate is checked with loop and densitometer targets, then wrapped for transport through a badge-controlled corridor to the press hall. The offset press is locked out and opened for setup, and plates are mounted onto cylinders with torque-limited clamps. Dampening units are charged with conditioned water solution, and ink keys are preset from stored profiles, so the first sheet A closed-loop camera system compares live print to reference patterns, and micro-adjusters shift plates.
Freshly offset printed substrate passes through a hot air and IR drying tunnel, with temperature sensors preventing overheating that could warp the cotton paper.
The dried web rolls briefly through a cooling section so ink films set flat, and the sheet then enters an
Processing. At an inline inspection gate, reflectance sensors detect smears, streaks, or color drift.
Intaglio ink is prepared in heavy-duty kneaders, thick and tacky, then heated slightly for viscosity.
The web transitions from offset to sheet handling, where large printed sheets are cut and stacked on pallets, then fed sheet by sheet into
The intaglio plate cylinder floods with ink. A doctor blade wipes the surface clean while leaving ink in engraved recesses.
The intaglio press controls adjust ink film in rotor pressure setting to perfectness variation.
In a separate secure station, foil and holographic elements are staged in locked dispensers, and a hot
Dried sheets feed into the hot stamping line where registration cameras locate marks. Then a heated die presses the foil onto
targets. The foil carrier film rewinds onto take-up reels, and scrap foil is collected into sealed bins. Next, the sheets enter a screen printing station, where specialized inks for optical effects are mixed and filtered.
Screen-printed layers pass through UV curing lamps, and radiometers confirm lamp intensity so inks polymerize fully, preventing tackiness.
Sheets proceed to microtext and fine line verification, where high-resolution scanners inspect edges of guilloche and lettering.
fresh cereal ink dries in a short tunnel, and cameras read every printed serial to confirm sequence continuity.
The system cross-checks counted serials, and operators reconcile gaps by isolating marked.
Company sheets passes sensing and data members.
At the full sheet inspection line, sheets run beneath multispectral cameras using visible, infrared, and ultraviolet.
Processing. Machine vision flags defective areas and records coordinates, and an automated marking system applies a coded indicator on the.
Approved sheets are stacked with precise alignment using air-cushioned lifts, and stack height sensors stop the lift at set counts.
The first cut trims sheet edges to exact dimensions, and the blade's clamp bar presses firmly to prevent drift.
Stacks are rotated and reloaded for crosscuts, and the back gauge advances in programmed steps, slicing sheets into strips with consistent widths.
Processing. Strip stacks are jogged and squared, then returned to the cutter for final segmentation into individual.
Notes move from to one to the race for gas substrates. Airjack.
Rejected notes are counted and sealed immediately, with bin locks and tamper-evident tags applied.
Processing. Accepted notes continue to a finishing line, where edges are checked for burrs and corner quality.
Notes pass a final UV response check, where sensors confirm expected fluorescence patterns, and any abnormal response triggers a.
The accept stream enters a counting machine that forms precise bundles, compressing stacks with calibrated pressure.
Each case receives a verified set of bricks, and lid flaps close under glue or tamper tape, while a
Approved cases are placed onto pallets by robotic arms, with corner boards and straps added. Then
Environmental controls maintain stable temperature and humidity in storage to protect paper integrity, and motion and intrusion sensors remain active above racks.
the production floor routes all misprints and rejects into lock production staging, where bins are sealed and weighed.
Shredded material passes through compactors that pressed confetti into dense briquettes, and briquettes are weighed and tagged.
Intaglio stations perform plate bed cleaning, doctor blades are inspected for wear, and ink.
Inside a modern Europe's money factory. Processing. Hot stamping dies are cooled and removed, then placed in locked drawers with serial control.
Processing. Screen printing frames are dismantled and washed in contained booths, and mesh tension is checked before storage.
Processing. The numbering line shuts down with the serial controller exporting final counts. Numbering heads are cleaned and
Processing. Quality control compiles run data, including spectral scan results, serial continuity logs, and defect map. Processing. The cutting room clears scrap trim into locked containers, and blades are logged for maintenance, while back gauge rails are back inside the plant. Floors around presses are vacuumed with HEPA units to control paper dust. Drain.
Lubrication is complete. Let's get this guard panel back on.
All right, grab the top left.
In the pre-press room, new plate blanks are staged, imaging chemistry levels are measured, and waste chemistry is collected into approved containers.
We had a slight variance here, but the physical count matches the destruction report.
Verified. Go ahead and finalize the shift totals.
The reference target scan shows consistent sensitivity across the grid.
Yes, look at the micro defect detection here. Calibration successful.
UV and IR test stations are revalidated using certified control notes, and sensor thresholds are adjusted within a...
Processing. In the cutting area, back gauge calibration is verified with gauge blocks, and test cuts on dummy sheets confirm dimensional...
The bundling line checks compression settings using test stacks, ensuring band tension does not damage edges, yet holds...
The access logs for Sector 4 align perfectly with the print run schedule.
And the surveillance retention.
Confirmed, Supervisor. All green.
The press hall resets for the next job. The plate cylinders are cleaned to bare metal surfaces, ready for fresh plate mounting.
Intaglio components are reassembled with checked fasteners and arts. Inside a modern Europe's money factory. Processing. The hot stamping line verifies die alignment using
Processing. Screen printing stations install a fresh screen and run viscosity checks on prepared ink, confirming mesh wetting and squeegee pressure. Numbering equipment loads a new numbering headset, the controller is locked to a new serial range, and test sheets run through to verify clean impressions.
The varnish unit checks analog cell volume with measurement tools, and coating supply lines are flushed.
Humidity set points confirmed. All stable.
edge guide sensors calibrated and responding. Web movement is precise.
Ink fountains are charged with the next background color set, and ink key motors cycle through range checks, confirming even distribution.
Plate cylinders receive new plates, clamped and aligned, and the dampening system primes with conditioned solution, reducing scumming risk while preserving fine line clarity.
Registration is titered by micro-adjusters, and color density is corrected by ink key changes, producing stable.
Printed substrate moves through drying and cooling, then transfers into sheet cutting for intaglio feeding, with stacks labeled clearly to maintain separation.
Processing. Dried intaglio sheets return for hot stamping, where cameras align marks and heated dies press foil into place.
Foil transfer is verified, scrap film rewinds, and sheets proceed to screen printing for optical inks, with squeegee strokes calibrated to deposit an even layer. UV curing completes the optical ink layer, and sheets cool before stacking, preventing adhesion between sheets.
Processing, sheets enter numbering where serials are applied in controlled sequence. Every serial is captured by cameras to confirm continuity.
Multispectral inspection validates UV/IR responses and checks hologram performance under defined angles.
Flow between them bundling, forming precise stacks. Compress the stack
Bundles are consolidated into bricks by automated stackers, aligned and compressed, then sent into packing.
Cases are sealed with tamper-evident measures, printed with tracking codes, then check-weighed, and any case outside.
Processing. Verified cases palletize in standardized patterns. Corner boards and straps stabilize loads, and
Weight and log entry confirmed, 500 kilograms exactly.
Noted. Proceed to the shredding stage.
Sensors and cameras are cleaned and calibrated, test targets verify accuracy, and inspection thresholds are confirmed.
Cutting equipment receives maintenance checks. Blades are inspected for edge wear, and back gauges are verified with dimensional standards.
Dispatch operations select pallets, scanning seal IDs and labels. They move the pallets into secure transport cages where final checks are recorded before shipment.
Ink mixing stations sanitize tools and containers, and retained ink samples are labeled for reference, preventing drift and color matching across future batches.
Hot stamping dies and foil stock are inventoried, sealed, and stored, and tension rollers are checked for smooth rotation.
Processing. Screen printing frames are inspected for mesh damage, squeegee edges are checked, and curing lamps are measured for output.
Processing. Numbering heads are cleaned, lubricated, and secured, and serial controllers are locked with next processing.
The protective coating unit flushes lines and sequences and seals coatings of equipment.
Quality teams seal final reference samples and test reports, placing them into controlled archives.
Processing. Waste handling areas secure all trim and paper dust in locked containers, and disposal manifests are prepared.
The prolly resets floor markings and staging zones, and empty pallets and carts are returned to storage bays, maintaining clear, controlled pathways.
Final machine guards are closed, interlocks tested, and emergency stops verified, keeping equipment compliant for the next. Access-controlled cabinets store tooling, plates, dies, and inspection fixtures, and each item is scanned into location tracking.
Environmental monitors throughout production and storage spaces record temperature and humidity, and alarms are tested.
Conveyor lines are wiped and vacuumed. Static control units are checked, and air filtration units are serviced, reducing dust contamination.
The dispatch bay confirms empty transport cages are returned and sealed storage remains intact, while shipment
processing. With reconciliation cleared, the vault updates release status for designated pallets, and storage plans reorganize.
Pre-press delivers the next plate set in sealed carriers, and plate cylinders receive fresh mounts. While
The line begins another controlled setup cycle with test sheets and inspection feedback, locking the system into stable operation.